Studios. Indigo. Boldly moving Indy forward. We are Praise AM 1310, 95.1 FM, Indy's inspiration station. Anxiety, depression, and stress are affecting more African American youth and young adults than ever before. On Saturday, March 21st, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Marriott Hotel, North Keystone Crossing, 3645 River Crossing Parkway, attend the status of the mental health of African American youth. This is a free workshop for faith-based organizations, community organizations, and community members serving youth and young adults. Continental breakfast and lunch provided. Learn more and register at Eventbrite. Registration ends at noon on March 17th. Sponsored by Mount Carmel Baptist Church. This is reality radio. The truth is, that which may be one person's reality may be another person's dream, or maybe even Kate Sweeney is on the line. Feel of the impossible. Two different people can look at the very same identical situation and have two entirely different interpretations. But in reality, it isn't about what you're looking at, but actually it's about what you see and how you interpret it. Have you ever been in an argument with someone who has an entirely different opinion of the same occurrence, but what they claim is the antithesis of what you know? Miss Lewis Burks. And some people will diabolically pretend that you didn't really witness what you know you saw and interpret it correctly. They may even try to convince you that you shouldn't believe your lying eyes. There's a whole lot of that going on right now, but you should always go with your gut. This is Reality Radio with Kathy Hughes. What's your reality? Your reality. Your reality.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Unity in the Community. I'm your host, James Jackson, lead pastor of Fervent Prayer Church, far east side of Indianapolis. Hope you're doing well on this afternoon. Thank you, all of those of you who supported on this week the St. Jude Radiothon. And we were on Thursday, and you showed up and you helped us to reach our goal. So thank you so much. Yeah, Rita's on the controls, and we were on here together. We had some good synergy, energy up in here on Thursday, and we just, it was an exciting time, and we were able to help a lot of people. So thank you. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you so much. Overcast in the capital city on today, and hopefully you are out enjoying the weather nonetheless, or you're at home enjoying yourself and doing something that you love to do on this weekend. It's a Saturday. Today is the Sabbath. Tomorrow, the Lord willing, is the first day of the week. So hopefully you're enjoying your weekend, and even if you're working, hopefully you're enjoying that. Those of you who are traveling grace to you and your family. Let's continue to be in prayer for our nation, our state, and our city. And the prophecy of Jeremiah, the Bible says we are to work, not just pray, but work for the peace of our city. And when the city has peace, when the state has peace, when the nation has peace, then we will all have peace. You can never acquiesce to the understanding that, oh, I have peace in my house, or I have peace in my environment, and be satisfied with that. We must always be concerned about our fellow man, fellow woman, always be concerned about others and how we can help others to have peace as well. Unity in the community, dealing with issues from a biblical perspective. And we're grateful to be here with you in our beautifully renovated studio. We've got one of the best studios going down here. Rita's on the controls this afternoon. Isn't it just gorgeous over here? I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful what has been done. And Andrea, our general manager, told me on Thursday they still got more to do. So we'll be putting more excellence on top of existing excellence. We'll have cameras. I think we'll be able to stream more efficiently and connecting with you, because that's what we want to do. We want to connect with you, our listeners. And it's my understanding, this is something that was indicated to me, that we reach over about 80% of the Black community. We reach more than Black people, but with regard to our Black community, which is beautiful, we reach upwards of 80%, if not more. So we're excited about that. AM 1310, 95.1. And we're streaming on this afternoon, so you can go to my Facebook page, James William Jackson. Please be sure. It's really called Meta. We all still call it Facebook, but it's Meta. And you can go to Meta, aka Facebook, and you can see who's saying what they're saying on here today. And please be sure to follow me. If you send me a friend request there, I will not be able to accept you as a friend, not because I don't want to, but Facebook, also known as Meta, only allows you to have 5,000 friends. I'm at that max. So please follow me, and you'll still be able to have access to all the wonderful things that I'm blessed to do on my page. You can also tune in on my YouTube channel, James William Jackson, or the Fervent Prayer Church Facebook page, and hopefully we'll be able to broadcast live on the Praise Indie app as well. 317-480-1310, 310-480-1310. Again, that's 317-480-1310 is the number that you will need to be able to connect with us and ask questions on the show today. We've got some exciting guests coming up here in just a few moments. First, let's have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you. We praise you, we magnify you, we lift you up. You are good, and your mercy endures forever. There is absolutely no other God like you. You answer our prayers. You do great and mighty things. You lead us, you guide us by the Holy Spirit. You provide for us all things that we need as it pertains to life and godliness. And most of all, we thank you for giving us your only begotten Son, Jesus. We believe on him, and therefore we have access to eternal life, whether Jesus comes or we go there first. That to be absent from these bodies, your word said, is to be present with you. So we thank you for being our Father who art in heaven, and we hallow your holy name on today. Not our will, but your will be done in Indianapolis, the state of Indiana, and the United States of America, and we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Joining us on this afternoon, as we have been over the last few weeks, and we're continuing a very, very special show, and that is voter education. We want you to be a highly informed voter going forward, regardless of what they have called us in the past, low information voters, they said, but no longer. We have been giving you information. I want to thank my good friend, Chaplain Wally, also others, Kate Sweeney Bell, who is going to be joining us today to introduce a very, very important woman in our community. And we're still in Women's History Month, and she's a part of that history. And later on in the show, another historical woman will be joining us to talk about some things going on in our community. So I'll get right to it. Kate, welcome back. How are you this afternoon? You still got Kate? All right. So,
You got me, Pastor
yeah,
Jackson?
I can hear you now. How are you this afternoon?
I am doing well. It might be a little bit cloudy, but it's not rainy like it was last Saturday. So
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of rain. Of course, this is the time of year that kind of happens, but yeah, it's nice to not have it each day.
yeah, I have one daffodil in my yard. But at least it's a sign of things to come. Not only is spring almost upon us, but so is the opening of early voting.
Yeah.
And for your listeners who would like to vote in this election, we are encouraging everyone to verify their voter registration. And it's easy if you've got the internet or if you have a telephone. With the internet, anyone can visit indianavoters.com, and they can type in their information, make sure all of their information is correct. And if there is an issue, there is still time to fix it because the deadline to register to vote is on April 6th.
Mm-hmm. That'll be
at
here.
11
That'll be here.
9 p.m.
That's going to be here, and we're halfway through March.
Yeah, it's just about 3 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
And the early voting at the City County building opens the very next day on April 7th. So there will be options for anyone who wishes to vote in the upcoming primary, but making sure that they're registered to vote is paramount. There's the guest that we're going to talk about in a little bit is has been working on making sure people are registered to vote for a very long time. I will not tell you how long. If she wants to, she can do that. But I think it's important to also note that Indianapolis has recently lost a lion in terms of voter engagement. It's a former city county councilor, Lula Journey, has just transitioned to another plane. And she was very inspirational and integral in helping ensure that people are registered to vote,
Yeah.
in ensuring that the voice of the Black community was heard, whether people wanted to hear it or not. And she will be missed not only by her family, but also by the community at large. So my condolences go out to the family of Lula Journey.
Absolutely, and our prayers certainly, all of us here, the same. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. She's my parents are not in the best of health, and once we're done talking today, they're on. That's who I'm going to visit. Our guest is she on the line with us yet?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
And thank you, and thank you for arranging that.
Oh, well, you're giving me credit that is not due. That is Chaplain Mike Wally, who is he is a force of nature, and he's hard to say no to.
Yeah,
I'm glad he only asks for.
Yeah, I thanked him earlier too.
Yeah. But I have known Cordelia Lewis Burke for decades and decades and decades. And she and I celebrate something that we've been talking about on your show for quite some time, and that is the one day that all people are equal, as long as they're registered to vote, and that is Election Day. Cordelia has shown kindness to people who probably didn't deserve it, and forgiveness, because she knows how good it feels when you are able to forgive someone. And I think a lot of that she learned having to take care of her younger siblings when she was growing up, and from her father, who was a minister in wild and wonderful West Virginia. That's where Miss Cordelia is from. She has worked with organized labor. She was the director of politics and legislation in Indiana for AFSCME, and she was vice chair of the Indiana Democratic Party for a number of years. She's been a member of the Democratic National Committee. She knows probably more presidents than I know the names of.
Mm-hmm.
She knows them personally, and they all who met her. So with Miss Cordelia, if you step out of line, she will let you know it.
Yeah, she don't play.
No, not at all. And having been on the receiving end of some well-deserved criticism, it doesn't come from a place of anger or frustration. She just always is trying to make people be the best that they can be. And when she knows you can do better, she's going to call you out about it. Um, she has won, I think, every award from the A. Philip Randolph Institute, everything that they offer because of her advocacy work uh, for, in particular, for women. Not it's not reserved solely for women, but Miss Cordelia came up during a time where um, everything was questioned, and well, she learned that she had a voice and she was going to use it. And over these past few years that I've been the county clerk, my office has registered thousands of people to vote. That's not what we do. Actually, we help with the Board of Voter Registration, but it is something that if we know that there are people who are trying to put limits on the ability for people to vote. And one of these is voter suppression. And we have seen at the naturalization ceremonies that we attend that there are fewer and fewer nations who are represented because the current presidential administration is making these folks who have jumped through every hoop that the government has asked and taken every test and passed with flying colors because he got mad and they're not able to complete the process. So normally where we would have at least 100, it's usually down to about 70 folks who are eligible to become citizens at these ceremonies. So that has been frustrating, and the advocacy that is necessary that's not going away. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we've been doing, I spent some time this week at high school, and there is nothing like a room full of teenagers to let you know how much you don't matter. The students, we visited students at Warren Central, and we visited students at Lawrence North, and we took our voting equipment with us, and we partnered with the League of Women Voters to educate students on how the technology works and what they will see if they decide to come and vote. And we're also trying to recruit these students as poll workers. Yeah. So they can get some dollars in their pocket. They can get experience, and we have found that if students who are eligible to vote come out and they do it early on, they're lifelong voters because they realize from the jump. Some people have families who, like Lula Journey, for example, her entire family is involved in politics, and that stems from her. My family, my grandfather and grandmother were very, very involved on my dad's side, very involved in politics, and that is how I grew up. But not everybody has that. But if we go and talk to these students directly and let them know that this is like Miss Cordelia has said for years, the one day a year where everyone is equal as long as they're registered to vote. All right. Well, we're looking forward, to hear from Cordelia, and thanks again, both of you and Chaplain Wally, for making this happen. We got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Miss Cordelia. We'll be back after this.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Since 1853, Indianapolis Public Schools have been the heart of this community. We've powered a stronger Indianapolis, helping students become scientists, lawyers, doctors, educators, and more. We're offering new STEM and athletic programs, and we're modernizing facilities in every neighborhood. We're building partnerships across the city, strengthening workforce connections, and improving reading scores for every student. When you choose IPS, Can you hear me now? Oh, I guess it didn't lock. So I'm having some issues. Um, it shouldn't affect your show at all, but some of the commercials are not playing. It's just silent. Oh, okay. It's empty space. So just wanted to let you know in case something funny happens. But I'm waiting for the engineer to call me back because this happened yesterday or day before yesterday, and it shut the whole system down. So on Tuesday, March 24th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at North United Methodist Church, 3808 North Meridian Street. Chad and Chew Housing Edition, Tuesday, March 24th, 6 p.m. at North United Methodist Church, right off 38th and Meridian.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin. 30 seconds. 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
All right, welcome back. Thank you all for tuning in with us on today AM 1310 95.1. We got Cordelia Lewis Burks on with us. How are you this afternoon?
I am blessed, Pastor Jackson, and thank you for inviting me to your show.
You're welcome, and I am.
Something else that I like to talk about, and that's voting.
Yeah, we can tell, and I'm excited, and we're honored to have you on. And especially since this is Women's History Month, you're certainly a historical figure in the United States, and especially here in Marion County. So talk to us about some of what you've done. Of course, I've got a whole thing I could read here, but I would take up all the time doing so. But and the importance of our listeners making sure that they are registered to vote, and then secondly, getting out there and doing it.
Well, one of the things that has bothered me over the years, and I have registered voters here in Indiana. I came here from Chicago, where I had moved to. My mother died when I was 11 years old, and my father, who was a Church of God in Christ pastor in Welch, West Virginia.
Really?
Yes, that's where I grew up. I went to West Virginia State College, so I have deep connections to my state. As a matter of fact, I even have written letters to Senator Manchin, who was a senator from West Virginia, to let him know that I considered myself having 3 senators, and he was included with the 2 from Indiana. However, registering, people used to come to my house and ask Daddy who they should vote for, and he would give his opinion. My father was a pastor and a coal miner. He was a member of the United Coal Miners of America, and after church on Sunday, he would go to his union meeting. So finally I said to Daddy at breakfast one morning, why do these people come and ask you who to vote for? And he said, because they feel they need to be educated. Well, one day he told somebody that he gave them a Republican's name to vote for. And he and I had a long discussion. And finally he said to me, I send you to school to be educated, so it's okay if you educate me. So anyway, I came here from Chicago, and the first thing I did, as I did when I went to Chicago, I registered voters in Chicago for Congressman William Gosselin. I worked in his campaign. So arriving in Indianapolis, I began to get involved. I was asked to be a precinct committeeman, which I was. And I was downtown. I would register voters at the food stamp in the welfare office. And one day I asked a young man who was in the food stamp office if he was registered, and if he were not, I would be pleased to do that. And he let me know that voting was not important to him. And as Kate said, I said, yeah, voting is not important to you, and here you stand in the food stamp line. Anyway, I was able to get really involved. I worked 20 years at Central State Hospital as a licensed practical nurse, and then 10 years in administration. But I was asked to work with the A. Philip Randolph Institute, and the Institute's mission was voter registration, voter education, and getting the vote out. Now, one of my concerns has always been, and you are making sure that this is alleviated, is that we don't educate. We register, but we don't necessarily educate our registered voters why they need to vote. And we have a good example in the last year of why we should vote, and an example of telling our voters why they should vote. And you indicated that this is Women's History Month, and the present president is trying to do all that he can to keep women from voting and to keep citizens from voting. He is right now trying to get rid of vote by mail, and that is something that he has done over the years. So, and then for elderly people or people with health challenges, voting by mail is very important. I try to get to my polling place every election day, and my children and my grandchildren, my grandson works at the polls. My daughter followed me politically. She passed away in November. She was a precinct committeeman, and she was a good precinct committeeman. So, some of the reasons that I want to give why we should vote and how people can be educated. And as a matter of fact, on March 28th, there will be a march all over the country called No Kings March. So I would hope that those of us who live in Indianapolis will get to the polls. Get to that march. Some of the reasons that we need to educate ourselves about. Right now, we have a president who has done something that he's done a lot of things that no president has done, but he has started a war in across the country, and he's now talking about sending boots on the ground, which means our sons and even our daughters. So he tried to come in and redistrict our congressional districts, mainly the Andre Carson's district and Congressman Mervan up in Gary, Indiana, in the 1st Congressional District. But thank God that some of our Republicans in the Senate voted against redistricting. So our 10th Congressional District remains the same with Andre Carson as our congressman. And let me say this to you. He needs to hear from us. When he does things right, or when we think we have a problem that we need to get solved, like Social Security or some of the other problems, we can go to his office and he can intervene to get things right. I remember when my son, David Lewis, who also passed last year, was in the Army. And he called me and he said, Mom, I know I always ask you who to vote for, but this year I'm voting for Jesse Jackson because he came over here and retrieved someone who was being held and took them back. And Ronald Reagan at that time was president, and he was not going to do anything. But Jesse went and got that young man, and my son knew how important voting was. So some of the issues that we're looking at, I get so many text messages, and I get so much mail and email. This Voting Rights Act is hooked up in what is called the SAVE Act. And one of the things that is said is the act will require you to even have your birth certificate to vote. And men and women will be unable to cast the vote if this SAVE Act is passed. And I would encourage you listeners to look that up. I was frequently on Tina's show, and we talked about Project 25. And as much as I think I'm smart politically, I hadn't heard of Project 25. My granddaughter, who works for the American Federation of Government Employees, came through here from Washington. She had been to a legislative conference. And she said, Grandmother, have you heard about Project 25? And I said, no. And she began to tell me about it. So I began to do my research and found out how important it was to be educated about Project 25. So, I want our listeners to know your voting right is your power. And so many people have tried to take our power away from us. And if you're not registered, to vote, like Kate said, you don't have a voice. So, it is just so important. Medicare and Medicaid. I got a text message on my phone and from my union saying that it looks like he's trying to reduce Social Security to $480. And many people, that is about all they get in Social Security because we were last hired and first fired. So that is very important. Medicare and Medicaid. I see where the Governor Braun, and the legislature has reduced Medicaid and have requirements that many of our voters and many of our people who are on Medicaid will not be able to have. There's the project, and you've heard all over town about the data centers. Now, this is very important, and that data center issue will be coming up in the City County Council during the month of April, I think it is. But if you're against data centers, get the information and let your council know whether or not you want them to vote for that, because I'm reading that it will impact how much we pay for our utilities. And, I used to tell AFSCME members across the country that you're in politics 24 hours a day. How your light bill, if your streets are going to be fixed, how much your water is going to cost. This is things that we should educate our voters who we're registering. I was reading the other day where Representative Greg Porter had a bill so that the Bureau of Motor Vehicles would not sell our personal information. And this is the third year that Greg has authored this bill. So, we need to call these our representatives and thank them I often call Congressman Carson when I see him on CNN and thank him for his conversation and knowing the issues that and speaking of the issues that are important to me. So how much of the confusion regarding the increase in our electrical bills. This is a political issue, and we need to let our councilmen and women know how we feel about the increasing amount that we're paying for electricity. And I see that the electric AES, which used to be Indianapolis Power and Light, it's selling it's selling the electric company to some big world company. We need to Councilor Bob Osterley was here to visit with me not too long ago, and he said, Miss Cordelia, I'm going to have to leave because I'm going down to the light company. And I said, very good, So we need to let them know how we feel about these issues.
Yeah.
And the other thing, there's just so many issues that we, on the national level, they tried to take away birthright citizenship. He indicated he tried to block election security measures, and this man, and the march on March 28th, No Kings Act. We must get there and participate. So I don't want to take up all of your time. I know that you have another guest coming on, but I certainly do thank you for allowing me to come in and talk about an issue that is so important, not only to me, but to my community. And thank you very much, Pastor Jackson. I will be pleased to take questions if there's time to allow them.
Well, Miss Cordelia, you can stay on with us. We've got another local counselor coming on, Counselor Renee Allen, who's counselor in the district that my church is in. But I would love to have you on for a whole show, if you don't mind. And we can get that set up so that we can have you for the whole hour.
Well, I would be pleased to do it. Let me say this. I worked in President Obama's senatorial campaign. My boss sent me to Chicago, where I worked for 3 months in his campaign. I opened up Bill Clinton's office down on Illinois Street just before you get to Michigan. So, but I've heard from all presidents, and sometimes I will answer my landline, which I don't frequently do. And if I don't see anything after the phone rings, and I came in and I picked it up, and someone said, Miss Cordelia, you're still there. It was President Obama.
Outstanding.
A delegate in the state of Indiana. And when I opened up Bill Clinton's office, I had worked very hard, got the place furnished, and I went down after the polls closed. And the young man who he had sent in said to me, you don't need to be here. We don't need to. We got this. And, the way he said it, I didn't want to act up in front of everybody because the place was just packed. And I came on home because Kate knows I will tell the truth. And I don't let anybody disrespect me. So I walked in his door. The phone rang. And I said, yeah, here they all calling me now. So I picked up the phone, and the same message was, Miss Cordelia, you're still there, Bill Clinton.
It might be on to a book. Miss Cordelia's still here.
It's still here.
All right.
So thank you very much for having me, and I will be pleased to work with you and serve. And it's one thing when young people or candidates come to my house, as they frequently do, and tell me they're going to run for office, the first thing I ask is, why are you running?
That's a great question.
And I say it like that. Why are you running? And if they don't tell me they're running to serve the people, I have told a couple, then you don't need to run because service is what it's all about. So thank you very much, Pastor Jackson.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you, Kate. We've got,
My pleasure.
you're welcome. And we got much more to come. We'll be back after these messages.
Did you hear about the plan from TV Wonderland? Sitcoms on the weekends with friends. Matter of fact, let me take you back. How it started. She said she liked the Cosby's, but she's living single, but then she wanted party. Let's have a good time. I showed you a different world. Moving on up, you know I need a girl. Staying up late, watching Stanford and Son. I'm coming Elizabeth for what's the big one? TV1. They always get it done. TV Wonderland. Tonight at 6 on TV1. Save big on everything when you shop at Menards. Give your walls the most advanced protection with Pittsburgh's Paramount Interior Paint and Primer in one. It's scuff, scrub, and wear resistant, while also blocking stains and delivering true one-coat coverage. Choose from thousands of color options and refresh your space for spring. View our entire selection of paint and accessories today on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer to find great deals happening this week. Save big money at Menards. Dedicated people, excellent care. Eskenazi Health is looking for innovative and collaborative individuals with a desire to improve the health of our community. Eskenazi Health offers a team-based culture, excellent benefits, and opportunities for growth. Provide high-quality, patient-centered care at one of the top places to work in healthcare, as named by Becker's Hospital Review, and the #1 health system in Indiana for community benefit by the Lown Institute. Learn more about career opportunities by visiting eskenazihealth.edu/careers. Listen to the Home and Finance Show each Saturday at 1 p.m. on Praise Indy, AM 1310 and 95.1 FM, where Janice Bradley is your host. Hey, let's be real. Nobody likes getting hit with a huge car repair bill. Your ride is how you get around, right? But what happens when that check engine light pops on or something just stops working? That's where CarShield comes in. They've got this low-cost plan paid month to month that basically saves you from shelling out big bucks for future auto repairs. Think about it. If your engine dies or your AC quits, you could pay almost nothing for the fix. Seriously, almost nothing. No more draining your savings for a surprise breakdown. This is a heads up for everyone out there. If your old warranty is about to run out or you don't have any coverage at all, right now, this protection plan is super affordable. And to sweeten the deal, if you sign up today, you also get free roadside assistance, free towing, and even options for a rental car. No extra charge for any of that. Get smart about your ride and your money. Call CarShield for your free quick quote today. Just dial 800-505-5841. That's 800-505-5841. Future-proof your ride with CarShield. Call 800-505-5841. That's 800-505-5841. Again, 800-505-5841.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, family, welcome back, and thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Going straight to the phone line with Counselor Renee Allen. Bob and others, we'll take some calls next time. We've got a full show on today, but I'm going to go right to Counselor Allen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor. How are you?
Good. Happy Women's History Month. You are part of that. You're making history.
Thank you. I forgot to thank my own self, so thank you for saying that. I've been thanking other women.
Yeah,
But
that's what Snoop did one time. He said, "I thank myself," when he got into work.
well, thank you. And good having Miss Cordelia on the show. I listened to a couple items, pivot points, that is very crucial during this time. And I know that she mentioned about the data centers, and she said, please call your counselors. And that's what I tell everybody. Like, I believe in organizing. And if we don't hear from our constituents of what you want, then we'll just vote on anything, right? Because we assume that's what you want. And so I tell anybody or everybody, I believe in organizing, and I believe in organizing around your counselors or any elected officials so that your voice can be heard. And then the other thing that she mentioned was voting. And so currently I do attend New Beginnings Fellowship Church. And so one of the things that I'm actually working with them throughout the month of March is I'm trying to get people registered to vote. If your information needs to be updated, I'm updating that right there on the site. I'm trying to get as many as young people that I can to be registered to vote. And as well on Tuesday, I've been invited to have a conversation with some young men who do not vote, and I'm supposed to tell them why they should vote. So I'm very much an advocate for making sure that we get out and vote, because our ancestors, they marched for us to do this. They prayed for us to do this. They got beat up on for us to do this. So why not continue to vote, to honor them for what was so hard for them to do, and it's so easy for us. Like Reverend Jesse Jackson said, we have a choice, but we have a chance. And I love that speech when he mentioned how many rocks is laying on the ground.
What's so important, and we're talking about getting registered to vote, and then finding out who you're voting for, and making sure that we are aware of the issues and not just going out and doing it, but advocacy. And one of the things that I was able to do, State Senator Lakeisha Jackson, she was in that seat as a counselor, and I would call and share things with her, and we actually got some legislation passed. But a lot of people, and Miss Cordelia talked about this too. If there's things going on in your community, your water, the power, of course, in business, if you sell a company, the people are going to pay a lot of money for it. And what's going to be top of mind for them is to make money back get a return on their investment. And so that's where the people come in, I think, to say, well, counselor, what can be done about this? What do you think about advocacy and the importance of it?
I think that the importance of advocacy around the issues that concern our community is very important. And I like the fact that you said you and State with Senator Lakeisha Jackson now, you all collaborated on that. You made a phone call. And so, again, I could not stress that enough. We have to have that phone call, and we have to be able to listen to our constituents. And I love the fact even Ms. Cordelia says when someone knocks on her door and they tell her that they want to run for an office, and she asks them why you want to run. And if they don't sit up there and say serve, then you shouldn't run. And I'm an advocacy for that, because that's what this seat is that we are supposed to serve this seat and not the seat serve us. So when we talk about advocacy, that's what we're supposed to do. As a community leader, as a constituent, as an elected official, for what concerns you all should concern us. And we should be able to put these policies in place in order to get the return on investment, in order to, let's just say, reduce gun violence, even if it's for the potholes and strip patching. If that's what you all want, that's what we're supposed to advocate for. That means if we're advocating for what you want, we're listening to you.
Yeah, and it works. Last week, we were talking about potholes on Carroll Road. Kate, we were talking about all that. And I was driving along there, not looking to see if it got done, because I didn't know that it would get done as quickly as it did. But Carroll Road potholes are all filled, and they did a good job out there. So what we're saying, it does work. And one of the most important things that is on your plate as a counselor is public safety. And of course, in our district, Far East Side, we had an incident on last night. And of course, the church I pastor, and there's a lot of buzz about the body that was found inside the fencing area of the radio tower, which is owned by Vertical Bridge, Cumulus Media, and WFMS. They broadcast off that tower. It's not a cell tower, it's a radio tower. And there was a young man who ended up inside that area. So there's a lot of people think may have happened, and it's too soon to come to any conclusions about how he got inside of there, and he is deceased. But public safety, kind of talk to us about that a little bit and the importance in your role as far as taking care of that, those kinds of things.
Pastor Jackson, yes, public safety is near and dear to my heart. I now became the vice chair of public safety. Councilor Leroy Robinson is the chair of that particular committee. And so for me overall, anytime I hear of any type of tragic situation that's happening in my district particularly, I always try to reach out to one of the chief or the commander to try to see, to get the details of that. And unfortunate with this particular case, like you said, there's so many speculations as to what happened. But for me, there's things that need to be addressed because we got drugs that is taking over our community, and especially our young people, young adults, that needs to be addressed, being advocates to make sure that we have, funds there to be able to help those young people to say, hey, do not use drugs. Then we also have, shooting, gun violence. That's a real big issue across Marion County. And, one of the things I'm even doing in that area is trying to build an ecosystem to identify what organizations or grassroots organizations that is truly doing the work to help save our young children, our young adults. And so it all goes hand in hand, that whole reentry, for me, and just making sure that those organizations that is truly doing the work, that they have the funds to address, all issues within public safety.
All right, Councilor Allen, as always, thank you for joining us on this afternoon. We're going to take a real quick break, and I'm certainly going to have you back, hopefully have you in the studio to talk about some of the visions that you have for the Far East Side, side of Indianapolis, of course, your entire district. Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
Okay, no problem.
Were you going to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would like to do one more plug. I am having a job and resource fair on Thursday, March the 19th at the Grassy Creek Environmental Center at 3510 North German Church Road. And one of the things we're going to highlight, we do have the Marion County Prosecutor's Office on board, and they're going to be there. They may not be doing the expungement and driver's license right there on the spot, but what they are going to do, I ask that everybody come in and sign their name, give them your information, and they are going to follow up as well. If you got information about if you got questions about child support, I will have someone there. I have Eskenazi Health and Hospital Corporation, the Goodwill. I have several companies there that's going to be vendors at this job and resource fair.
Time and place?
It's from 11 to 2, and again, it's at the Grassy Creek Environmental Center at 3510 North German Church Road on Thursday, March the 19th from 11 to 2.
That's next week. So beautiful place to have, and I appreciate you using that, getting all of the use you can out of that beautiful facility there.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having me. And yes, please feel free to invite me back so we can further talk about everything that's going on.
Regularly, hopefully.
Yes. I look forward to that.
All right. Have a great rest of the day. Going straight to the phone, and as we head to the top of the hour, certainly not a stranger to Indiana, and especially Indianapolis, Bishop T. Garrett Benjamin, with his new book, The Kindness Code. One of the kindest people you're ever going to meet is on the line. Bishop Benjamin, how are you this afternoon?
I'm blessed, man. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Blessed and not depressed, as you always say.
Watch my, don't take all my stuff, man.
You got good stuff here.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Well, thank you.
You've got, all these years, you've put out a lot of content, and you've got a new book that is now available on your website, also available on Amazon. I ordered quite a few of them, planning on doing a kindness code class. Talk to us about this new effort.
Well, I just want to thank you, first of all, for this moment or two, just to let you know that I just have just discovered, that, one of the things that we are missing in today's society, which you already know, which is full of contention and chaos and combativeness, is the whole area of kindness. We've almost lost that as a culture. And I want to wake it up again in our people, and people really want to get people to recognize that weakness, there is no weakness in kindness. Kindness is all strength because it's the will of God for our lives. We were born to be kind, born to love. We use love loosely because we don't really understand that kindness actually is love in action. You could say you love somebody, but you're still not kind to them. And I think the Good Samaritan story best picks it up. We need to put the S for Samaritan on our chest and begin to see that, if we get this book, I really think it'll change your look.
And they put the S on our chest. I like that. That's great. And tell us how people can get their hands on it today.
Well, again, you mentioned they can get it directly off of Amazon. It's in 3 platforms. It's soft cover, hardcover, and even the digital copy. And we've got the audio or audible copy coming out in a couple of weeks. But you can get it off of Amazon, but you can also get it directly off my website, which is www.drtombenjamin, TGBTG.com. That TGBTG stands for To God Be the Glory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's www. Dr. Tom Benjamin, TGBTG.com.
And they can get a fast link off of your Facebook page. Those of you who are on Facebook, your social media handles.
Yeah, they can go on your page and find it. I'm only asking that people, whenever they see anything about the book, to go ahead and share it with their list, with their contacts, with their friends on Facebook and Instagram, because it is a repetitiveness of the talking about the book that really increases the marketing.
Yeah.
I don't have any money, a lot of marketing, so I got to count on my friends to become ambassadors for kindness. They can help make the book a bestseller just by repeating my posts and repeating what I say and getting the book, spreading it. But if they would just see it online, share it, and you'll see what a difference that'll make.
And you most certainly have a lot of friends here in Indianapolis. Antithetically, there's kindness and then there's meanness, and we're seeing meanness from the top down. Social media
Sure.
is meanness rampant on social media. The book, of course, addresses this. And what is your most favorite part of the book with regard to overcoming meanness with kindness?
Well, I think actually I begin the book talking about the Superman story. And it probably helps a lot of people to relate, because I saw that last Superman movie and I was a Superman fan as a kid. He used to have those Superman outfits that I would wear for Halloween and all of that. But, it took me many, many years to figure out that Superman's strength, being able to jump over buildings in a single bound and faster than a speeding bullet and all of that, was all designed to show kindness to other people. He was always trying to get to people to help people. That's what we've got to get in our mind. It's, look, the bottom line is this. I've come to a conclusion in my ministry after all these years. It's come crystal clear that Christianity and religion, any religion, true religion, worth its salt, is 90% kindness and 10% everything else. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it. No, don't do that. But you know what I'm saying. My whole issue is that we've missed the point. We're running around with rules and all, the rituals, and it's really all about kindness. Kindness is super cool. Really want to be somebody, be kind. Never too late.
That's it. And going to have you back to talk through the book. I've got about 11 copies or so, and looking forward to getting through there and then just kind of have you on so we can talk through it. How's that?
I think that would be great. 5 minutes is 5 minutes, but 50 minutes, we can change the world.
Yeah, we got it out there though. Amazon and on your website, Facebook page. You're seeing it everywhere, y'all. So let's get it. Thank you, Bishop. And from all
Don't
of us.
forget, repeat it. Repeat it.
All right,
repeat
sir.
it. Repeat it.
From all of us here at AM 1310 95.1 FM, we like you, we love you, make us smile. Have a great day.